Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Gun Appreciation Day. Looks like a few people didn't realize they had stored loaded weapons, and there's a couple of accidents at a few of the gun shows across the country. That's kind of sad. Of course, somebody's going to try and exploit it and say that's why we shouldn't have guns, but you know, the reality check is that without guns there wouldn't be a United States of America. And without guns there might not be a United States of America. I mean, a lot of people think we're crazy to talk about Obama in the same breath as Hitler and Mao Zedong and all Stalin and all the rest of those gun grabbers, but history has a way of repeating itself, and all the pieces are there. And they're doing what they can to restrict us. But you see, what they're really talking about is with this gun control crap, and what Obama looks to do is he wants to upset the balance of power. What was it, that saying that God created man and Samuel Colt made them equal? You see, when there's a balance of power, then it's really hard for one group or person to force their will upon another group or person. But as soon as that balance of power gets out, that's when you can start forcing things. I mean, if it's just one person against one person and they're pretty equally matched, well, if the one guy tries to force, you know, their opinion or belief on the other guy, well, the other guy goes, forget you, and there's a fight. But if one guy has a gun and the other guy doesn't, well, then the balance of power is kind of shifted, you see, and the guy with the gun, he's got a little more power. So he can now force his views and opinions and beliefs upon that other person. And sometimes if he has enough power, he could force his view and opinion and belief on more than one person. And you see, that's what Obama wants to do. He wants to take that away because he doesn't want one person to be able to keep, you know, one or more of his government agencies at bay. He wants to be able just to come in and tell you what to do and take what he wants from you. I was talking to some people, and they were saying how they didn't like it that this year that they're going to lose about $100 a month or more from their salaries due to increased taxes, and the same, you know, with their spouse. So they're looking at about a reduced income, I think was $2,400 a year. Just taken away. Just like that. They're just taking away those people's money. And these people, did they have any say in the matter? Nope, they didn't. The government just said, we're going to take more money from you. And basically, there's not a thing you can do about it. Well, you see, that's why there's a Second Amendment. Because just maybe, enough people said, you know what, government, you've gotten too big. You're taking too much of our money, and you're restricting us too much, and you've crossed the line, and now we're just going to take our guns and we're going to take our country back and maybe get back to the way it was intended. But you see, that kind of talk, revolutionary talk, which really it's not a revolution per se. It's more of a restoration. Because we want things to go back the way they should be, the way they were intended to be, not the way they are now. So it's not that there's a revolution. We don't want to overthrow the Constitution. We want to restore it. And restore our government. So it's all about this balance of power. And, you know, in the case that Obama wants to call in the blue helmet, see, he doesn't want the people to have those 30-round magazines to fight off those blue helmets. So that's what's really in play here, is this balance of power. I was reading Time magazine yesterday, and it's real interesting how they're talking about guns, how they can distort things or couple things, because that's what's happening. They're coupling the NRA saying that, you know, we want to keep our guns, we want to keep our 30-round magazines, coupling that with we don't want our kids safe. See, anytime you want to get to people, you just bring kids into it. That's all it takes. You want to defame somebody, make them a social outcast, pariah, whatever. You just say they were a child molester. Just accuse them. Or accuse them of having child pornography. And they're done for. It doesn't matter if they're innocent or guilty. They are done for. It's just the way society works. Our society. And that's what the left, the media, the lamestream media is called. That's what they're doing with this whole issue about the kids. They're not talking about, well, let's see, if these kids have, if we're filling them full of these drugs that mess with their brain chemistry, and one of the side effects is becoming a psychopath, sociopath, maybe we shouldn't pump these kids so full of these drugs. But that's not being discussed, no. Nor are the any brutal murders by hand, by knife, by hammer. Those type of things, they don't make the headlines. But if a gun gets involved, one of those hot button divisive issues, oh man, that's going to get front page, above the crease, prime time review and exposure. All about this balance of power. My good friend Ralph, though, he said that it's possible, and he might be on target because he usually is that with all the guns in the headlines and people all riled up and focusing on guns, meanwhile, while they're focusing on guns here, they might be doing something over here with that other hand, and we better not get so myopic, so focused just on this gun issue, because the government just might be up to something else even more insidious and stripping away more of our freedoms and powers. And the one thing that the government probably realizes, and Obama in particular, is that the only reason they rule is because we allow them to. Because there's more of we the people than there is of us. And if someday, somehow, somebody could come along and unify we the people and lead us, then Obama, it'd be over. It'd be over so quick it wouldn't even be funny. Because most of the military is not going to take his orders to fire upon fellow citizens. And there's sheriffs all over the country saying no. And there's governors and states saying, no way are we going to do this, allow this. And I was thinking that the last president to have an issue so divisive was Lincoln. When else can you think of governors and sheriffs, law enforcement, military, all saying basically, no, we're not going to take your orders. We're not going to follow orders. We're not going to do that. When was the last time? I think it was before our time. I don't think YouTube was around when that happened. But I think Obama's got this country right where he wants it. The end game? Don't really know. Destruction of America, but then what? To what end, really? So, my fellow Americans, fellow preppers, just remember this gun control, it's all about the balance of power. And while we're focused on that, let's not just take our attention off the other things that could be going on. Wake up, America. Smell the tyranny.